Back at it. Guys in the building, excited to get after the Rams. Interesting week this week as we got to prepare to go to London. But our guys, again, are focused and ready to get after this, chase our first win. From an injury standpoint yesterday, we got out of there relatively healthy. We'll have some guys that were not able to play last week that we'll take them day to day right now and kind of see where they're at on Wednesday as we get back to practice and see who's available for this weekend. So hoping to get some more bodies back that way. We released defensive end Anthony Zettel. We had the one-game suspension with Cordy, and so he'll be back on the roster right now. And we'll take it day to day with him right now. But I'll open up to questions from there.
Do you expect Cordy to practice this week?
We'll take it day to day right now. See where it goes.
After analyzing the game film, why were the Jaguars so successful at taking the run away?
I think it was a lot of things that we did to ourselves as well. We had a couple examples of people going the wrong way. That doesn't help the runs. We felt like there was for whatever reason, it was usually a different person on about every play. There was more yards to be had there, and we just didn't do a good enough job. And that was frustrating because we should have had more there than we had. And, again, it put us in a bind, put us in a lot of second long, second tens. We had a first good gain on first down in the pass game, second down, ran the ball, and wasn't very efficient. So certainly an area we got to improve on if we're going to win some football games.
What were the conversations like, or have they been like with Joe whenever you've had several weeks now where things have just struggled to get off the ground?
Joe and I have had some great conversations. He and Jamal talked through a lot of things. He and I talk a lot of things. We're on the same page. It's frustrating for everybody when the running game's not going, and that's number one with the coaches, number two with the running backs. But Joe's easy to deal with. Joe understands. Joe wants to win. He's not a selfish guy in that way. He just wants to win, and it's frustrating for any running back when we're having the lack of success that we're having right now.
You said yesterday you were going to analyze everything and try to get some things right. You've been an 11 personnel team for the most part. Would you look at changing that at all and using maybe more two tight ends to help the running game?
Yeah, we do talk about it extensively every single week, whether it's 11, 12, 13, should we be in 10? Those are all conversations that we have. And, again, what we roll out there on Sunday is usually what we think the best chance to win the game is.
Going back to Cordy, was he in the building today?
No.
Is part of the reason, I think we've talked about this before, part of the reason of being at 11 is hopefully to get lighter boxes that you can run against, especially with the way the line has performed so far this year?
There's a lot of reasons. It's usually we like the matchups that are presented to us. There's games in the future that in games we've played in where we've been in more 12 personnel because we feel like that's a good matchup. And so as we get through the week here and we analyze the Rams and what gives us the best opportunity, we'll make that determination of who we want to put out there.
Even when you're in 11, is it still a problem when you look back at how the game unfolded and you never got a tight end involved at all until, the fourth quarter, a couple of short throws? Is that kind of thing where, we got to try to find ways to make sure that they get a little more involved?
We do. It's – again, the game ends and the tight ends don't have much action. So you want to look at, okay, how do we get them involved? There's a lot of things we look at with protections right now to give ourselves the best opportunity. And so we take into account a lot of things. We just make sure we're approaching it the right way to make sure we got a nice pocket back there a lot of times and that we can get the ball out and we're helping people that we need to help, and it all factors into it.
What's the downside of having Joe and Gio in the backfield? Is there something that maybe prevents Dave from doing that on?
Well, there's been times we've gotten Gio in the game with Joe. There's times we've had more plays in the plan to do that, and we haven't been able to get it off. You look at some of the games we've played, and we've had limited snaps in the first half, and then so it's certainly an option for us. You got to look at how are they going to respond defensively. What do they look at that as, And so those are all things that as the game gets going, we're trying to understand kind of what their approach is when we do that and what advantages that gives us.
Geno Atkins had probably his best game yesterday. What did you see from him, and what can you expect going forward from him?
Well, he did. He stepped up. Had the 2 sacks there where he's winning some one-on-ones. He's putting pressure on the quarterback. He's one of our leaders, our veterans that we're depending on to step up and make some plays. There's a lot of guys we're leaning on that we need to play the way that he played yesterday. And so He's a guy that, again, we count on him. He goes out there and does his job. Yesterday, he had some pretty good production. There's other games where he has the same production. He doesn't necessarily get the sacks, but he affects the quarterback and he affects the play call in a lot of ways. Yesterday just showed up on paper a little bit more, but again, he's somebody that you always got to be aware of as an offense coordinator.
Was there a reason you think it was able to show up on paper more yesterday?
They held the ball for a good amount of time. Minshew was back there surveying the field and gave Geno a chance to win some one-on-ones, and there were some other ones he was close as well. So it's, a good job by the coverage too. Not only Geno winning his one-on-ones, but the coverage holding up on the back end as well, and guys aren't open, and so he gets a chance to kind of get that extra second there to win his matchup and go get the sack.
Is the locker room, is this the most frustrated you've seen it in the time that you've been coaching so far?
I wouldn't say that I feel frustrated at the end of that game when it gets away from us. Certainly it's frustrating for a player. In the locker room, there was nothing alarming. It's frustration by everybody because we feel like we had a lead in the fourth quarter. That hasn't happened for us this year, really. And so to have that and to feel like, all right, we're going to win this game, we believe in that, and then for it to end the way it did, it's frustrating for it to all happen like that. But I wouldn't say that I saw anything that was alarming in the locker room after the game. It's I just met with the team, at 1:45, and the team meeting was we said the things that needed to be said, and we're moving on to LA.
You've talked so much about the character of this team.
Mm-hmm.
How is it getting more difficult to keep that as the focus?
No, I think you're always leery when you hit a stretch like this, which I don't know that any of us ever have, that there's a lot of positivity, and sometimes the negative voices become louder, even if a few, and that's anywhere. That's everywhere you're at. And so just make sure that everyone's listening to the right players. And again, it's the team has a great approach when we're around, but you're not always in the locker room. You don't know if there's one or two guys. But it seems like the character of our team has been what we would hope for. And, the right players are stepping up and saying the right things right now.
How much do you address with players the possibility or the fact that it wouldn't happen that players could get traded over the next couple of weeks? Do you leave that completely out of the conversation? Do you address it? How do you approach that as a coach?
Yeah, we don't talk about it because our team is our team, and we plan on, continue to go out there every single day with the guys that are in this locker room working. And so there's no reason to have that conversation because this is the group that we're going to win a game with. And so excited to see it happen.
Is it tough to tune out the speculation, whether it be AJ or guys in your D-line, when there's reports coming out that they could be trade targets?
It's not hard for me to tune out because I don't know where I'd hear it. Unless someone turns on the radio in my office, I wouldn't know. I've said what I've said about AJ. I'm not gonna go through the whole list of everybody, but I knew enough of it to where, there was the speculation with AJ. I wanted to make it clear AJ's not going anywhere. He's staying here.
One follow-up, Zach, on AJ would be, is it as simple as when he's ready, he's going to play?
It really is.
Consideration to bye week?
I just want to see him practice, and I know I've spent a lot of time talking up here, and last week, we gave him some time off, and so this week we get a chance to come back and take it day to day, and I wouldn't put him out in a game if he hasn't gone through a full practice yet, and he hasn't gone through full practice yet. So, of course, today's Monday. We'll see where he's at on Wednesday, see where he's at on Thursday, see where he's at on Friday. I'm not saying it's out of the question that he would play on Sunday. I don't know what the likelihood of that is until I see him practice. So, truthfully, we'll just see where he's at. And again, if he's not able to play on this Sunday, then, the bye comes at a right time where you get a chance another week to fully recover and see if we're ready to go for Baltimore. But we'll just take it day to day right now.
So you can't say if he'll practice Wednesday yet?
No, I made that mistake last week.
Do you think you guys should at least listen to trade offers and at least take them seriously at all?
Well, we listen to anything. I think that's not be the intelligent thing to do to pick up phones and listen to what's said. But again, our approach is we got these guys in the locker room, and we're going to focus on winning a game with these guys.
How much do you talk with the front office about stuff like that? Is that just all on them, or are you involved in that process?
Every day. We meet every single morning, and we talk through anything that's on the table. And personnel, there's a lot of things that are on the table, and we make sure so every day it's not a State of the Union. It's an ongoing conversation every single day, and we're in a good place there.
Are you willing to commit to Andy Dalton through the duration of this season, or is that something that is
I don't think it's fair to do at any position. And, that's the easiest one to point the finger at when things aren't going well. I could show you a lot of things yesterday that people would probably point the finger at Andy, and I'd say, well, how about this? How about this player do something different? And here's why that throw looks like it does. Here's the window I see. And so there's certainly we just got to find a way to win as a unit. It's easiest to point the finger at the quarterback. I don't see it that way. I've coached that position a long time, and I know that's human nature to do it that way, but everyone's got to step up. There was a lot of 50-50 opportunities for the receivers yesterday. They got to step up and make some plays too. Sometimes they did, and sometimes they got to do a better job. Sometimes the linemen got to do a better job with the pocket. Sometimes the backs have to do a better job in protection, either getting out quicker or staying in there and making the block so there's not free runners coming. So everyone's a piece of that puzzle, but ultimately they're usually the one that takes the heat for it.
What do you need to see more out of him that he needs to be better at?
I think for all of our players, it's being consistent. I mean, there's certainly some throws he wants back from yesterday. Again, there's some throws that I wouldn't pin on him that look poor sometimes that I wouldn't say are his fault. And then there's a couple that he would say that's solely my responsibility there. And so just for consistency from not only him but every single player. But again, he's poised. He stands in there, takes some hits. Usually gives himself the allotted time to make a decision before someone's going to hit him, and he's got to get rid of the ball. And the screen's a great example. Screen for touchdown. Everyone's yelling at the quarterback, and we got to make sure that we're blocking the right guys and we can get out on the screen and make a play. And unfortunately, the pick six goes down in his book, but that plays on the whole unit.
Aside from decision making, do you feel like all the hits he's taken, all the pressure has affected his mechanics at all?
I don't think so. No, I don't. And you're pleased he faced two man yesterday, took off, ran on a big third down and long situation. I don't think it's affected his mechanics. I've seen the same player that I saw last spring when I first got here in that regard.
For you as a coach, I mean, everything is 100% focused on winning the next game.
Yes.
At what point do you have to kind of cast an eye toward 2020 and start, not just a quarterback, but in any position?
Correct. We have to win this game. That's when we show up on Monday morning, it is how are we beating the Rams, and that's the conversation right now, and that'll make everybody feel a lot better. It's you put in all this work for the last however many months. It's been a long time, and it hasn't paid off yet. That doesn't mean that there's not progress being made in a lot of areas. That some is seen, some is unseen, but we still find the positives to build off of. And we had the team meeting. I said, what was a game? The 49ers beat us up pretty good. They've proven to be a really good team. I said, what's a game that you felt like we were out of, that we didn't have a chance to win, that we shouldn't have won? And so they understand we shouldn't feel like an 0-7 team. That's what our record is, but that's not how we should feel. We've had an opportunity to win some of these games in the fourth quarter, and who says that this can't be the game that we get that done? So let's focus on that and make sure that we're all working to achieve that. Understand where we're at. We shouldn't feel like an 0-7 team. We put ourselves in position, and we just got to find a way to win one of these.
In the meetings,
One more minute, please.
In the meetings you do have with other people in the organization, and I know this is out of the realm of a football coach, is attendance talked about, concern, anything like that amongst those meetings that you guys have?
Not with me. If we put a winning product on the field, the fans will. Here's how I see it. You see fans that are upset. That's a positive in my opinion. That means that these fans, they care about what happens here, and they're upset about it. They're upset that we're not winning games, because I know that when we start getting this thing turned around, we start winning games, they're going to be there to support us. They still talk about the Bengals. They want us to do well. We're not doing well right now. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to fight to win some games and show some positive momentum and show some energy on the field and get them fired up. But I know that this community really, really wants to support a winner. And so we're going to fight our tails off every single day I want to win for the players, number one, because they put in the work. You want to win for the fans because they want us to be a winner. I know that. I've lived in this community before. I know people who, they want us to win, and that's a positive because we just got to get it going in the right direction, and we'll have people that are there to support us when we do get it going.